Hi crafty friends, Melissa Minor here. Thanks so much for joining me on YouTube. Today I'm working with the April Color Kitz from Shimmerz Paints, and oh my goodness, this kit is just amazing. So let me tell you about the photos that I'm using today. I've got 3 photos, and these are of my daughter Tatum and several of her friends. And they went out to a little restaurant during a Friday during Lent, so they could not eat meat. So they got like a cheese pizza and some fettuccine and things. And so I thought this was cute, and they sent me some photos. Now I am working from a sketch, and the sketch I purchased from Scrapbook Generation from Allison Davis. And there's lots of different sketches on their website, and this one was for a 3-photo layout. And so I thought that's perfect. I've got 3 photos, so I'm going to use this sketch. So that's where the inspiration came for today's layout. So I'm using 2 different pattern papers from the Color Kitz. I've got this beautiful blue with the white flowers, and then this yellow with the white flowers. And I've already trimmed these down to size. And then you saw there that I was rounding the corners. So I'm going to go ahead and get these adhered down. Now this background paper was also from the Color Kitz, and it's like a ledger type paper. I love these. So I'm going to go ahead and put this top piece on, kind of get it centered here, and it's great because it's already got these lines on the paper, so it's easy to line up. So the top and the bottom papers are the same, and then I cut out that yellow for the center. And then you'll see here off to the left of the screen, I did bring in some yellow cardstock from my stash, and I'm also going to use that strip of paper, and I'm also using that yellow to mat my photos. So I did mat my photos off camera, and then I distressed the edges of all the yellow papers. So the yellow strip here, and then the yellow that's behind the photos. So let me get this adhered down. So like I said, I am following the sketch pretty closely here. And it was a paid sketch, so I'm not showing it on camera, but if you're interested, you can go check out her website. Now I did already pull out some embellishments. Now this piece, it had like a title on the top of it. I think it said spring cleaning or something. And I went ahead and cut that off and then flipped it upside down so I can use it as a little journaling spot. And then I love all the floral ephemera that's included in the kit. And so I'm just going to dry fit some of these flowers. This layout's coming together very quickly. I know when you use a sketch, it just seems like it flies by. So I took all of that off, and I remembered I got this punch and I've been dying to use it. And so I'm going to try punching this. Now I did fast forward through this quite a bit because, as you'll notice here in just a moment, I really struggle with the punch. So I'm not usually a punch girl. I usually use my Cricut, but I see a lot of people using punches, and I wanted to try it. And I'm sure once I practice, I'll get the hang of it, but I am not liking the way this is looking. For some reason, mine did not line up right, and it was a hot mess. So I am going to throw that out, and I'm going to start over. I cut another strip. And I'm just using some scraps here, and since the bottom of this here where these meet up, it's going to be covered behind the photo, so you'll never know that it wasn't the same strip of paper. So nothing against the punch. I'm sure once I get to practicing with it, it'll come out right, but I just decided to scratch it, and we're just going to go with a regular strip of cardstock here. All right, so I got that lined up. Let me cut off a little bit of that excess. I don't need any extra here. We'll glue that down. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little foam on the back of my photos. I'll do that off camera just to pop those up a little bit. And then now I want to do some painting. So I'm looking through my swatches here. I do have a full unboxing on my channel, which I will leave linked down below, and where I swatched these. And the color that I'm using came in the kit, and it is called Mustard Seed-Vibez. So that's the one I've picked. I'm using a little bit of the Shimmerz Paints Clear Gesso, and you'll see here I'm just rubbing this in with my fingertip. It doesn't take very much, but I do want to put a barrier on this paper so that I can move the paint around. So I'm just putting a little bit of this clear gesso right along the right corner of the yellow pattern paper and on the ledger paper, and then to the bottom left and the little bit of the yellow paper there. I'm just rubbing that in, and it's clear so you can't really see what I'm doing here, but that's what I'm doing. I'm rubbing that in. Now I'm bringing in my heat tool so that I can make sure this is dry so I can continue on with my layout. All right, so it's all dry now, and I'm dipping my paintbrush now into the Mustard Seed-Vibez, and I just want to add a little color, and you see how pretty that looks when you add the gesso, so the paint just moves around like I'm on a watercolor paper or a mixed media style paper. And so I need to use gesso more than I do because this worked so well. And then I added a few splatters, so I'm going to repeat the same thing that I did up there on the right-hand corner. I'm going to repeat that process here in the left-hand corner, adding some of the vibes with a little bit of the water, making sure I get right up close to that paper and on the paper up there a little bit, adding a few more splatters, and then I'll repeat that, just making sure I have everything touched up here the way I want it, and few splatters over here. And I love the color of this Vibes, and it has just a little bit of shine to it, sparkle. It's so pretty. And I know the camera doesn't pick up the beautiful colors of the paint and the shimmer and shine that you see like you do in real life. So I'm going to add my photos back on here. I did put the foam behind them, so we'll get that pressed into place. And I do want to mention that if you shop on the Shimmerz Paints website, if you add my name, Melissa Minor, to the comments section, Shimmerz will send you a free paint. So I really appreciate anytime you use my name, as that lets Shimmerz Paints know that I referred you. And when you receive a free paint, I receive a free paint in return as well. So I really appreciate all of those that shop my links and use my name. All right, I added a little bit of foam tape to these gorgeous flowers. So we'll get that secured. And I was going to move it up a little bit, but it's really stuck there. So I'm just going to bend up the tips of the flowers just to give them a little bit more movement. So I'm going to add a few foam pieces here to the back of these pretty flowers. We'll add these to the bottom left. So my daughter Tatum is the one on the bottom right. And then sitting next to her is her friend Ava. And then in the middle photo there, on the left is her friend Kendall, and then the other one is her friend Hannah. So they went to this little restaurant called the Brick Oven, and it's a really cute restaurant. It's fancy, and they just had a good time. Now for a title, I'm using some thickers from my stash, and I decided to add the title of No Meat, and then I'm adding a little bit of tangled thread here because I want to bring in the gorgeous dots. So in the Shimmerz kits, you get 3 dots, and I want to use that one with a sun on it. So I'm messing up my thread here, and my thread turned into pretty much a hot mess. I don't know why I struggled with the thread, but it looks good right now. But then when I add my dot to it, it all gets stuck together and the thread starts going everywhere. See, there it goes all over the place, but that's okay. It's supposed to be messy thread, right? Tangled thread. So I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm going to roll with it, add a little bit more glue, and stick this little nest of thread in the sun right here. I also added Hello Spring to the top. And now I'm bringing in some sequins from the bonus bundle, and the bonus bundle is really awesome this month. It's got some pretty little like clay flowers in it, and then lots of sequins and the yellows, and there's some like fluorescent type ones, I think they are, and then some green, just really, really pretty. So I'm gonna add like 3 to the upper right, 3 to the lower left. So I'm using my little pickup tool here. We'll get these in place where I have the glue drops. I like to use the Nuvo Deluxe glue when I'm using sequins because it dries super clear. And now I'm bringing in some of the puffy stickers, and I found some hearts. And there's a couple little like dots. So I've got all the ones that were yellow, and I'm adding those to my clusters. And then I found the sticker that says today. So I thought that was perfect to add to my title, No Meat Today. So I'll put this over here on the bottom right, and that is going to finish up my layout. If you've liked this video, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, I hope you will subscribe and come back. And if you don't already follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, I would love for you to follow me on those platforms as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!